Hello, this is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness, and what I'm doing is some life coaching tips. One of the good things about gardening, it helps us get our hands back to nature. When we are playing with Mother Gaia, um, feeling those energies really helps us release and just it's a good way to think. You know, if you need to think, it depends if we're too much in our heads, that's not a good thing either. But being here in my garden, my balcony garden, I should say, and well, let me give you a really quick little tour here. I have all my little beautiful pets right here. Some of them bear fruit, like this one. Some of them bear flowers. I got my herbs over there, okay? And, you know, they're wonderful. I got all my peppermints, different peppermints and basils right there. And as you can see, I collect my tea bags for compost there, and I add them into the dirt, okay? So, anyway, that is my little garden, balcony garden. And what I'm doing is I'm transplanting. And if you see here is in this dirt, you're going to see that I put eggshells. Eggshells is really wonderful. Okay, I don't know if the angle, see right there, there's some. Okay, you smash them up after they're dried, after you cracked your eggs and use the eggs for whatever food you need. And you mix it in with the soil. Okay, you can use coffee grounds too. What we're doing is, by doing that, you're adding protein to the soil, so you get a better bloom, you get a better bounty, and healthier plants. Okay, and you don't have to necessarily do those vegetable sticks. I got these wonderful ants visiting. And you can also do it with peels. You got your mango peels, your banana peels, and and let's see here, all the compost of the fruits and vegetables add. But it is best to do that when you have a garden in a home, and not in a home, but I mean in the lawn in the front or in the backyard, where all that stuff can permeate into the ground. Because if not, what happens if you do it in a pot? Trust me, I know, I've done it myself. You put it in the pot, and though the plants come up beautifully, you will attract gnats like you don't believe. Okay, because it's not going anywhere. It's stagnating there. Okay, and so I've noticed that coffee grounds and tea compost. So my tea compost here. All right, I add in. Okay, these are all from the tea bags from teas we've already used, and I add it in there. Okay. Also, too, sometimes, believe it or not, I do get some, of the teas. So that is really wonderful. You're like, what is that new leaf blooming there? And okay, so mixing that all in on the bottom, not just on top, but on the bottom, in the middle, you know, um, with the dirt, with the soil and dirt, really is a good thing. Okay, the plants just love it. I had music on earlier. I like to put on my what I call my Gayatri station from Pandora, and you just put it all in there, and just just mix it there. You gotta want to get your hands dirty. I always say, that it's one of the reasons why I don't have long nails or fake nails, because it just gets in there. Look, I see these beautiful hands that are just, these are working hands. These are hands that say, I am part of the world. I entertain myself. I do things. I try to be a bit self-sufficient, okay? Or else, when you have those long dragon nails, those are people who are not going to do much, because if you're doing sports and things like that, if you're doing activities, they're not going to last long, and they're going to get all messed up. So, and me being a Hawaiian Polynesian performer, it could be a problem. Yeah, so like the nail polish will last a little bit, and try and use organic nail polish when you do. I know at the Sprouts they have it. I try not to go to Whole Foods so much because Whole Foods is um, supported by Monsanto, and we all know how we feel about Monsanto, okay? So look at that. We're going to just cut off some of the browns. We take off the dried ends because when we take off the dried ends, then we are no longer asking the try to revive it. Otherwise, it's going to be draining and taking away from the plant as opposed to giving to the plant. So this way, it is giving all the protein and the vitamin D from the sun and everything from the photosynthesis is going all to the benefit of the green and growing the plant, not trying to revive it. And indirectly, I'm trying to revive this one from my grandmother. Okay, and do not put it on, leave about an inch from the top. Okay, so that way, because too, one thing happens when you water, you're going to need to, it doesn't overflow. And wonderful pie trays are good to use for underneath. Okay, and there you go. You transplant. You got this protein, and we're gonna give it some water and put it in an area where it can grow. I think we're gonna put it over here. All right. Let's see. Right by the basil and the geraniums. Okay, and give it some water. And voila. Okay, so that is a life coaching tip for today about gardening. But do garden. When you have a plant, it says a lot about people when they grow because they know how to care for something other than themselves. They can appreciate other energies. They can take themselves out of themselves and focus on something else. And that says a lot when people do not garden, do not participate, that they don't have pets, then they are only focusing on themselves. And I say that it's not good or bad, it is what it is. And so this way you know. And what type of person are you? Do you want to be subservient and cater to someone who's always just focusing on themselves? Or do you want to also try and, want to cohabitate? Or would you like to, how can I say, you know, um, have a partner? You have to think about what it is that you need in your relationships, in your friendships and romance that you're willing to give. And that's why dating and courting is so important because during that dating time, we get to know the other person. Okay? A lot of people nowadays, they think, oh, we have sex, we're together, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, and now I'm going to change you, and I'm going to mold you to what I need. And that is not what is done, okay? It's not right. It is not respectful to the other person. So remember, if you choose to interact sexually, intimately, very soon off, that's fine. That's your prerogative and your choice. Just do know that that does not necessarily mean you're in a relationship, and nor would you want to because you do not know then that person, okay? All that meant is you having sex so soon off is there was that physical chemistry that you enjoyed, and you're like, ooh, yeah, okay? But that doesn't mean you're good together. In fact, a lot of times that instant, lust is what we say astrologically and spiritually, a warning of saying this could be a very karmic, a very hard lesson relationship. Maybe take it slow. Do you really need that? And see what your soul needs. Okay, so this is Sirena Nereida. You have a wonderful day. Okay, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be having the full moon coming up. So, chaucito.